Why does the life of a chosen one truly begin at 40? And what hidden divine mystery unfolds in this sacred threshold of age? Beloved ones, let us sit together in the silence of the soul and reflect upon the unfolding of life. Many think youth is the pinnacle of power, that greatness blooms in one's 20s, or that success must be seized before the hair turns gray. But I tell you, the life of a chosen one does not truly begin until the soul crosses the river of youth and stands upon the banks of maturity, which often begins at the age of 40. This is not merely a matter of time or biology, but of divine timing. God has designed life so that certain realizations, certain awakenings, cannot come too early, for the soul must first burn in the furnace of experience before it can shine with spiritual brilliance. Let us explore together why this sacred age opens the doorway of destiny for the chosen one. Reason number 1. The soul's maturity ripens at 40. In the first decades of life, man is restless, pulled by desires, ambitions, and worldly pursuits. He is eager to taste the fruits of success, of love, of possessions, and of reputation. This eagerness is not wrong, for it is part of the journey. The Creator has placed within youth the fire of seeking outwardly so that the lessons of the world may be learned. But as the chosen one reaches 40, a shift begins to stir. The fever of endless desires starts to cool, and the inner voice of the soul grows louder. The chosen one has tasted enough of the world to understand its transient sweetness. He sees that possessions cannot hold him forever, relationships change, and achievements do not bring eternal satisfaction. This maturity is not available to the young who are still intoxicated by the wine of desire. Thus, at 40, the soul of the chosen one begins to ripen, like a fruit that has endured both storm and sunshine. From this maturity comes a readiness to embrace the higher call of God. Reason number 2. The divine plan reveals itself in clarity. Before 40, the chosen one may stumble, may wander through different paths, may fall and rise again. These struggles are necessary, for the divine plan is not handed to man like a written letter. It is carved into his heart through experiences. By the time the chosen one reaches 40, the pieces of his life, successes and failures, joys and heartbreaks, begin to fit together. What once seemed random begins to appear as destiny. A man looks back and sees that every trial prepared him, every pain refined him, and every blessing guided him toward his mission. It is as though the fog of youth begins to lift, and suddenly the road ahead is visible. The chosen one sees clearly what God has been shaping him for. And so, life truly begins, not in childhood nor in reckless youth, but in the divine clarity that comes when the appointed age has arrived. Reason number 3. The strength of the body aligns with the wisdom of the mind. In the early years, the body is strong, but the mind is unripe. In old age, the mind may be wise, but the body begins to weaken. Yet at 40, there is a rare balance. The chosen one still carries strength enough to act boldly in the world, but he also carries the wisdom to use that strength rightly. This sacred balance of energy and understanding allows him to fulfill his mission with both power and patience. Youth may waste strength on empty pursuits, and old age may regret without action. But at 40, the chosen one has the rare ability to unite vigor with discernment. Thus, God preserves this age as the golden period when the chosen soul can do his work most effectively. Reason number 4. The ego begins to loosen its grip. During the early stages of life, ego rules like a tyrant. It demands recognition, wealth, beauty, success, and endless validation. The chosen one, too, must wrestle with this powerful force, for no man is free from ego in youth. But as the chosen one approaches 40, the ego, though not entirely gone, begins to loosen its chains. He realizes that life is too short to be wasted on the applause of others. He no longer lives to please the crowd or to build monuments of pride. Instead, the heart opens to humility, compassion, and truth. This softening of ego makes space for the divine to act more freely through him. Life now becomes a channel for God, rather than a stage for self. Thus, only at 40 and beyond does the chosen one become a vessel through which the eternal may pour its light into the world. Reason number 5. The fire of desire turns into the flame of devotion. Until 40, desires run wild, scattering the soul's energy in many directions. But at this sacred threshold, the chosen one begins to feel the futility of endless craving. What once brought excitement now brings emptiness. And yet, this emptiness is not despair. It is the opening for devotion. The restless fire of desire is transformed into a steady flame of love for God, for truth, for service. This transformation cannot happen too early, for devotion born without maturity is often shallow. But at 40, devotion becomes deep, lasting, and unshakable. The chosen one begins to walk not with impatience but with reverence, not seeking pleasure but seeking presence. This is why, from this age onward, his life takes on a sacred glow. Reason number 6. The chosen one awakens to his true calling. Every soul is born with a divine purpose, but not every soul discovers it. For the chosen one, destiny is written from birth, but it often lies hidden beneath the distractions of youth. At 40, the veil lifts, and the chosen one hears the call more clearly than ever before. He may suddenly realize that his mission is not what he thought it was. The business he built, the career he chased, the status he held, all were only preparations for something greater. Now, he feels compelled to follow the deeper calling of his soul, whether it is teaching, healing, guiding, creating, or simply radiating light to all around him. This awakening marks the true beginning of his life's work, the reason he was born. Reason number 7. The heart opens to unconditional love. In youth, love is often mingled with attachment, passion, and selfishness. It is a love that desires to possess, to control, to be pleased. But by 40, after joys and sorrows of relationships, the chosen one learns that true love is not about taking but about giving, not about ownership but about freedom. His heart opens wide, not just for one or two, but for humanity, for God's creation as a whole. Such a love is no longer bound by personal desire. It is unconditional, radiant, and healing. This flowering of higher love transforms the chosen one into a beacon for others, for people feel peace simply in his presence. This is why his true spiritual influence begins in this stage of life. Reason number 8. Life teaches surrender, and surrender brings power. By the time the chosen one reaches 40, he has seen enough of life to know he cannot control everything. He has tried, struggled, resisted, and fought, only to realize that true strength lies not in clinging but in surrendering to God's will. This surrender is not weakness but the highest power, for in letting go of his little self, he becomes aligned with the infinite self. At this age, surrender comes more naturally, for the chosen one no longer wishes to impose his will upon the universe but to flow with the divine plan. This surrender marks the real beginning of freedom. Now, life becomes effortless, for it is lived not in resistance but in harmony with the eternal current. Reason number 9. The chosen one becomes a guide for others. Finally, at 40 and beyond, the chosen one no longer lives just for himself. His experiences, his wisdom, his devotion, all ripen into a gift he must share with the world. Younger souls look to him for guidance, for he carries not only words but presence, not only knowledge but the fragrance of lived truth. He becomes like a lamp placed on a hill, shining for all who wander in darkness. This is why his life truly begins at this sacred threshold, because now he lives not as a seeker alone but as a guide, a teacher, a helper, an instrument of God's compassion on earth. His mission is not for himself but for others, and in serving, he finds the ultimate fulfillment. Beloved, do not think that 40 is a decline, as the world often says. For the chosen one, it is the true dawn. Childhood and youth are but preparation, and from this divine threshold onward, the eternal play of God begins to reveal itself through you. Walk with courage, for your soul has only just begun to live.